Hi, I'm Kristen Harrigan, the photographer at the centre of the Parallel exhibition that you're viewing here today. Thank you so much for coming along. I hope you enjoy the images and this guided tour. Before we begin, I think it's important that you have a little bit of history in relation to where this series has come from and where it is today. So for starters, Parallel started its life as Project 2259 in January 2022. I'd recently purchased a Leica Q2 camera, and it was a deliberate attempt to get out of the house following the few years of COVID lockdowns and restrictions. I was getting way too comfy with never leaving the house. So the purchase of the camera, a rather simple fixed lens camera, super portable and mobile, able to be tucked in any handbag. It meant it could come with me as I was out doing my daily chores and living my daily life. And the whole vision was to capture life as it was in the 2259 postcode on the central coast of New South Wales, Australia. The reason why this postcode was important was because it's my home postcode, but also it's a vast postcode. It stretches over 42 suburbs and it's a vast geographic area. Due to years of restrictions on travel, I wanted to get out and document the history of the local area, document how it was at this time and date. But I also wanted to use the same curiosity as I did when I was traveling to shoot areas that I'd never seen before. So I was hoping to view my hometown, my home postcode, with the same curiosity and sense of adventure that I had taken all around the world. I'd captured several hundred photos of the 2259 postcode and was starting to lose a little bit of faith in what the series was or why it was that I continued to take these images of the 2259 postcode. So my interest in it kind of waned over time, and it especially was shelved when international travel was again allowed and we were able to return to international destinations of the United States of America, Thailand, the United Arab Emirates and Italy. And what continued to strike me was the similarities between the images I'd captured within the 2259 postcode and the images I was now capturing as we travelled around the world. It all really started with an image from Thailand, which funnily enough has not been included in the exhibition, but it's an image looking down the street and it mimics the image from Hamlin Terrace with the blue Hamlin Terrace sign. And it was a similar angle of the road, and there was a blue tsunami pathway directing people to safety. And so it was the layout and the colours, and there was just a general vibe that was quite similar to the image that had been shot in Hamlin Terrace. This continued when we ventured to the United States of America, where there were similarities between images in their colour and composition that had been shot in Wyong and then those that had been shot in the Yosemite National Park. So this got me thinking about the parallels that exist in our local area, our hometowns, our local communities, and international or even interstate destinations that we may travel to. So maybe we're not that different after all. So I continued to venture out within the 2259 postcode after returning home from these international destinations. And as I walked around or drove around, I was again struck by the similarities in images that I'd captured from overseas destinations and images that I was again capturing in the 2259 postcode. So as we talk through each piece, some of the diptychs, you may notice the Wyong or the local image has been shot first, while others you may notice that image has been shot second. So that gives you a little bit of background in terms of how this has all come about. And it has been quite a journey because this has gone from this 2259 project that was really a little bit of a motivation for me to get shooting, to get out of the house and explore my local area. And I kept shooting even though I didn't know what I was shooting for, what was the end goal or what was the end game in terms of these images. And it's really only been in the last 6 months that this has all started to come together in a formal series and as part of a formal exhibition. So that's why, again, I thank you for your time in attending the exhibition today. I hope you enjoy it and do know that it's more than just these images. It's been an absolute labour of love, and there are several thousands of kilometres that have been driven and flown to capture the images that you see today. Number 1, Wyong and Los Angeles. The image from Wyong was taken in July 2023, and the image from Los Angeles was taken in October 2022. Originally, the Wyong image was taken through the fence, but from the road side, and the building was bright yellow. It was only after I'd travelled to Los Angeles and noticed again the similarities of shooting through a chainmail fence that I decided to return to the Wyong site to take the photo from an alternate angle. So I walked to the far edge of the fencing rather than attempting to shoot through the short edge, as it didn't seem to provide enough space in the foreground for these to be truly parallel images. Number 2, Wyong and Watts. The image from Wyong was shot in July 2023, and the image from Watts was shot in October 2022. I do laugh when I look at the image of Watts, remembering back to the harebrained idea that I had with my husband about us driving to Watts in California to be able to see Watts Towers. They'd intrigued me for some time, and it wasn't until we were on the Hood Life tour, where we were transported around South Central Los Angeles in a bulletproof van, that we realised just how dangerous the area was, and that it was a wise move that we didn't navigate to this area ourselves. Fortunately, the streets of Wyong are a little bit safer, so I didn't require the bulletproof van. On a cool July afternoon, when I was wandering around the streets of Wyong, I'd walked up the hill of one of the main streets of Wyong and then looked over my shoulder to see the telecommunications tower emerging from the top of the Exchange building. I then knew that this was the image that was parallel with the Watts Towers photograph from the October prior. Number 3, Wyong and San Francisco. The Wyong image was taken in July 2023 and the San Francisco image in September 2022. I had previously taken quite a number of photos of the Asteria Umano building in March 2022 as I was fascinated by their colourful doors. It was only after I'd shot the San Francisco image that I realised I needed to return to the site and capture a flat-on, front-on version of this image rather than the angular, perspective-driven images that had previously been captured at this site. Number 4, Wyong and Old Phuket Town. The Wyong image was captured in June 2022 and the Old Phuket Town image captured in June 2023. People who know me know that rainbow is my favourite colour, so when I can find rainbows naturally occurring in the outside world, I'm always going to take a photograph or several of them. The image from Wyong was captured on a walking track that has been locked off to the general public. The concrete bollards that have stopped people from accessing the area, and I love that they're all spray painted vibrant colours. It was only when we went for a day trip to Old Phuket Town in Thailand that I also found a building with rainbow shutters, and the rest is history. Number 5, Wyong and Modena. The Wyong image was shot in November 2024 and the Modena image May 2024. Originally, the Wyong image was shot in July 2023, but again, upon review of the international image, I decided to return to the site to make a slight perspective shift on how I shot the building, which happens to be the Central Coast Council Chamber building. The image from Italy was captured at the Enzo Ferrari Museum in Modena. Number 6, Wyong and Patong Beach. The Wyong image was shot in July 2023 and the Patong Beach image June 2023. Again, the Wyong image is a reshoot, as I've shot the Chapman building many times across the life of the 2259 project. This image at Patong Beach was again one of the first images that started me thinking about the parallels between the images that had been captured of the 2259 postcode area and images that I was now able to capture in overseas destinations. And fun fact, the Patong Beach sheds were about 100 metres from the other images that really kickstarted the parallel series as a concept. Number 7, Wyong and Yosemite National Park. The Wyong image was captured in June 2022 and the Yosemite National Park image in September 2022. The Wyong image was again captured from a walking track area that sits behind quite a large industrial estate in Wyong on the Central Coast. I love the rich reds and browns and how scenic and picturesque this destination looked, even though it was kind of shoved behind these industrial buildings. Then when we went to Yosemite National Park in September 2022, I was struck by the similarities in colour and knew that these guys were definitely going to be part of the parallel series. Number 8 is Wyong and Crenshaw. The Wyong image was captured in July 2023 and the Crenshaw image October 2022. This is again a reshoot where I had previously shot the general store at Wyong many times. I've driven past it thousands of times in my life on the Central Coast. I was again struck by the similarities in colour of the buildings, placement of trees, and the busyness that's occurring within each shopfront. Again, Crenshaw is one of the parts of Los Angeles that you don't want to be exploring yourself. Again, we were able to view it all from the comfort of a bulletproof van, which was very handy. However, if you are ever in Wyong, you don't need to be taking the same precautions, and the general store continues to operate to this day. Number 9, Wyong and Kanchanaburi. The Wyong image was shot in July 2023 and the Kanchanaburi image in June 2023. The bridge featured in the Kanchanaburi image is the bridge over the River Kwai from the movie of the same name. We visited Hellfire Pass and the bridge and the river as part of our trip there in June 2023. The image of Wyong was one that I had not previously shot, but I knew the place, I knew the area. I'd walked under the bridge, which is the rail bridge, and there's also a parallel road that runs underneath. So I knew after I'd shot the Kanchanaburi image where I was going to be able to source a parallel image from the 2259 postcode area. Number 10, Hamlin Terrace and Dubai. The image from Hamlin Terrace was taken in January 2022 and the image from Dubai, April 2024. As mentioned in the introduction, this image of the Hamlin Terrace sign was initially put together with an image from Patong Beach. But it wasn't until we travelled to Dubai in April 2024 and we were crossing the street from our motel to the shopping centre that I was able to take the image from Dubai, which was on the Palm Jumeirah. It was then when I reviewed that against the existing Project 2259 images, it was a way better fit in terms of the perspective of the road and the placement of the sign than the one I'd previously selected of Patong Beach. Number 11, Doyleson North and Naples. The image from Doyleson North was taken in November 2024 and the image from Naples, May 2024. And I'm going to be super honest when it comes to these images. I have driven around every suburb on the 2259 postcode area to be able to source a parallel image for any of the photographs I'd taken in Naples. My love affair with Naples was super duper strong. I didn't expect to feel as at home and as in awe as I did in Naples. So I worked really hard to make sure I could include an image from Naples in this exhibition. The thing that struck me as most hard in the 2259 postcode area when attempting to source parallel images from Naples was the absolute lack of graffiti that there is in the 2259 postcode area in prevalent or prime positions. So I had to settle for a similarity in terms of the colours of the building at Doyleson North, which is on the Pacific Highway and have driven past it many hundreds of times, and the souvenir kiosk in Naples. Number 12, Tugra and Sayok. The image from Tugra was taken in November 2022 and the image from Sayok in June 2023. The image from Sayok is taken from the Hellfire Pass Interpretive Centre, and the mountain range that's seen in the background leads onto Myanmar. In contrast, the image from Tugra is taken near the Westfield and beyond the mountain is in fact the M1 motorway. That brings us to the end of the guided audio tour for the Parallel exhibition. I thank you again for taking the time to attend the exhibition. Feel free to follow on social media at Harrigan_creative on Instagram.